Alright, we're on section 6.5, adding and subtracting fractions. Now, hopefully you know how to add and subtract fractions. We need to make sure we have this a common denominator, which is really helpful because we just learned about least common denominators. So we're going to have to be using least common denominators to find, to get common denominators so that we can add or subtract them. Because once we have a common denominator, all we have to do is add the numerators or subtract the numerators depending on what it's telling us to do. So, we have our steps to adding and subtracting fractions. These are kind of our steps in line. These are kind of if you realize I don't know what I need to do, and then you're going to go through it. Hopefully you'll get the hang of it and you won't have to look at each step every time. But so far it says, number 1, give the fractions an LCD if they don't already have one. So if they do, so you're going to look at the denominator. If they're the same, then you're good. If they're not, then you're going to have to find the LCD. Now, make sure to multiply out the numerator. So that means if you have the numerator, you're going to basically do the opposite of factoring out for the numerators. And then if it's subtraction, make sure to distribute the subtraction or negative signs. You have to be very careful with that. It needs to be distributed. Combine any like terms, which we know how to do that, and then factor out the numerator to see if the fraction can be simplified. So, that is our basic step. It sounds like a lot, but first, do we have the common denominator? Yes. So therefore, we don't have to do anything with that. So now, all we have to do is add the numerators, because it says make sure to multiply the numerators out. There's nothing to multiply out in the numerators. It's not subtraction. Now we just need to combine the like terms. So we have 3c plus 5c is 8c. 8c over 16. Now we're not done because it says basically factor out the numerator to see if the fraction can be simplified. So really just make sure that it can be simplified. Well, I know that I can take the 8 and cross that out and put that a 1, and the 16 can be a 2. So therefore I have 1c at the top, which we are going to write as c, over 2 at the bottom. So that is our final answer. Now, number 2, I'm not going to scroll down quite yet because I want to look at our thing. Give the fractions an LCD. Well, they already have a LCD of 10. Make sure to multiply out the numerators. There's nothing to multiply out. But if it's subtraction, make sure to distribute the negative or the subtraction sign. So this needs to be distributed to this whole thing right here. So I'm basically going to rewrite this whole thing. I'm going to rewrite the first one, 5x plus 4 over 10. And I'm going to put plus instead, and I'm actually going to factor and bring that negative up here. So it's 3x minus 8 over 10. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite it again. Again, you're not going to have to write all these steps every time. I'm just showing them to you so that you know where I'm getting them from. So I'm basically, again, that negative is being brought up here and it has to be distributed. So again, I'm going to leave the first one the same, 5x plus 4 over 10 plus, and then I'm going to have negative 3x plus 8 over 10. Now I'm going to be actually adding them together, and it says we're going to be combining any like terms. So 5x minus 3x is 2x, and 4 plus 8 is 12 over 10. Because again, we're not doing anything. When we're adding or subtracting fractions, the denominator stays the same because it is the same denominator. Now it says factor out the numerator to see if the fraction can be simplified. So we can actually find the GCF of the numerator, which is 2. So I'm going to write 2 times x plus 6. So now if you look at this, I can now simplify because the numerator is in factored form. So I can cancel that out. That'll be a 1. This will be a 5. So therefore I'm left with x plus 6 over 5, and I cannot do anything else with that. Alright, so now we're going to get a denominator with using variables. Now, they look very close, but you remember how we rearranged them? Let's rearrange this one, okay? So I'm just going to rewrite it. So it's going to be 7 over negative x plus 3. Well, I need it to be a positive x and a negative 3. So if I multiply the top and the bottom by a negative 1, that will get rid of the negative. So therefore, I'm going to have a negative 7 over, and that needs to be distributed. So it's a negative 1 times negative x, which is x, and then negative 1 times 3, which is a negative 3. So I can rewrite this problem just like this. So now I'm going to rewrite everything, and I'm going to have 2 over x minus 3 plus negative 7 over x minus 3. So all I did was get common denominator, okay? Once I moved it around, all I needed to do to get common denominator is multiply by negative 1 over negative 1, okay? So now I'm adding them, so therefore 2 minus 7 is negative 5 over x minus 3, and there you have it. Okay, now we need common denominator. So I need to find the LCD. So if you think about that, that's 2 squared. And 18 is going to be, if I think of it over to the side, 18 is 9 and 2, 3 and 3, so it's really 2 times 3 squared. So therefore we're going to be using 2 squared and 3 squared, which is 4 times 9, which is 36. Okay, so we need both of them to be 36. So therefore I'm going to have to multiply this first one, I'm going to multiply this one by, it's going to be, I need it to be 36, so 4 times 9. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 9. Well, the second one, I need to multiply the top and the bottom by 2 to get 36. So now I'm going to rewrite the problem over here. So I'm multiplying the first fraction by 9 over 9. So I have 9a over 36. That's an a. Minus, and I have to distribute the 2, 10 plus 24a over 36. Now remember, we have that negative right here because it's subtraction, so I'm really going to write this as a positive, and this is going to be distributed as a negative. So now I'm going to rewrite it as 9a over 36 plus negative 10 minus 24a over 36. Combine like terms, so we'll have negative 10, and 9a minus 24 is going to be a negative 15a over 36. So now we're going to check to make sure that we can't cancel anything out. So I'm going to factor out the GCF of the top, which is I'm going to do negative 5. So that will give me 2 plus 3a over 36. But there's nothing you can cancel out. So you actually, either way would be the right answer. So if you put this in or this, I will accept either one. Now if you could simplify it more, you'd have to. But you can't. Okay, so again, I need GCF. So therefore, if I think about this, I can multiply 2x by something to give me 8x squared. So I'm actually going to be multiplying by 4x by the top and the bottom, because that will give me 8x squared. So I'm going to be rewriting this problem. 3 times 4x is 12x over 2x times 4x is 8x squared, and we're just going to subtract 1 over 8x squared. But of course that's a negative, so really, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There we go. So we're going to be multiplying, or that's going to be adding, and we're going to put that negative right there. So now we have 12x minus 1, can't combine that anymore. And we have 8x squared. Can we factor anything out from the top? Nope. So therefore, that is our answer. Again, you cannot cancel out with the 12 and the 8 because that 1 is connected to the 12x minus, or the 12x. Can't do anything. Okay, and last one. So we need to find the least common denominator, so we need to do that by factoring out. So instead of a squared minus 2a, I'm going to factor out an a, and I'm going to be left with a minus 2. So I'm going to just cross that out. And that's difference of squares, so that's going to be really a minus 2, a plus 2. So my LCD, because we have the a, we have an a minus 2, and we have an a plus 2. So my LCD is going to be a times a minus 2, a plus 2. Okay? So really for this first one, we're going to have to multiply the top and the bottom by an a plus 2, because that's what it's missing in order to get this LCD. So therefore I have a minus 3 times a plus 2 over a times a minus 2, a plus 2. Okay? Now I have a subtraction, and this one, all it is missing is an a, so I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by a. Make sure it's going to be distributed to the whole thing. So we have a times a minus 4 over a times a minus 2, a plus 2. Now, we haven't had this intricate anything with this intricate with the numerator or the denominator, so I'm going to go back up and read what we had. So we found the LCD. Make sure to multiply out the numerators. We did not multiply out the numerators. We're going to actually have to FOIL and distribute for that. So, oops. Okay, so I'm going to use the FOIL method to do all of that, okay? So that's going to be a times a, so it's a squared. Then negative 3 times a is a negative 3a. A times 2 is 2a. And negative 3 times 2 is a negative 6. This is all over a times a minus 2, a plus 2. And then I'm going to make this a positive, and then that's a negative, so it's going to be distributing to everything, so plus, and so that's going to be a negative a squared plus 4a over a times a minus 2, a plus 2. Now they have common denominator, so we can start adding like terms with the numerator. So therefore these will cancel out, and then I have negative 3a plus 2a, which is a negative 1a, plus 4a, that gives me a 3a. And then we have the negative 6 left. And then, of course, it just keeps the same LCD for the bottom. Now, we're not done yet, because what does it say? It says, make sure, if subtraction, okay, we did that. Combining like terms, factor out the numerator to see if it can be simplified. So we need to factor it back out. Sounds silly, but we simplified it. So it has a GCF of 3, so I'm going to factor out the 3. So that's a minus 2. Over a times a minus 2, a plus 2. And looky here, we can cancel that out. So we're left with 3 over a times a plus 2. And there you have it. Now, if any of this was confusing and you're just trying to really write it all down really fast, please go back and make sure you understand what I was doing. If you were just copying ferociously, which is fine at first, that's fine to get the motions, but go back and see if you understand how we got this point.